Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Coriander and Killian, we're back at it, baby. We're back,
Yeah.
and we're ready to talk about Rambo 4 from 2008. So this is going to be fun. I'm really excited about it. We're getting near to the end of our Rambo coverage. It's going to be great. Let's do a quick take to get things started off, and then we do have a little moment for a special person that was in the franchise for a while, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Kill, let's start with you. Rambo 4. What do you think of this movie? What's a quick take on it for you?
Man, I love this movie. It had
Mm-hmm.
been I guess the longest hiatus for
Yeah.
this franchise. Going from the third installment to this one, and
Mm-hmm.
I still has it, man. It's just a return to form, and people just leave this man alone. Like, I mean, like, really, like just leave this man in peace. He's
Right.
trying to find his peace. He's trying to find his zen, and they keep
Yes.
pulling him back in.
Because
Right.
they need
Right.
the
Right.
best.
Right.
They do.
How about you, Coriander?
I mean, yeah, Rambo, I mean, he's a fucking fighting machine at any age, I tell you. It was awesome. And I
Yes.
mean, again, it's a solid, simple story. It's intense,
Yes.
it's
Mm-hmm.
shocking, and yeah, like Killian, I love it.
Yes, absolutely. For me, man, this Jesus, Sylvester Stallone, man, that's all I gotta say. It's crazy because when this
Yeah.
movie came out, you still had a question. You're like, can he come back? I mean, it was such a long hiatus, like you said, Kill, and he came back, and it was like, holy shit! I mean, somehow
This
he
is
was
like the
able to.
best one. I'm
It, it
sorry, but it's like one of
it's
the best ones.
it was unbelievable what this movie was able to do, and they treated, and we'll talk about that once we get into everything proper, but they treated it
Yeah.
in a realistic type of way because obviously he's older in
Yes.
this movie. So some things they handled it the right way is all I'm going to say. We'll talk about that as we get into it. But real quick in the chat before we start our intro with our special little moment that I have here for you guys. Let's see who we got in the chat. Let's see. Oh, we got Cryptomarias in the chat saying so tired, but worth staying up for. Oh, wow. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. We enjoy having you
Right?
guys here with us. That's what makes this so much fun. Thank you so much. Saying yay. That's too funny. We appreciate that. Seriously, Crypto. We really do. My man Eric, the champion of the people, is here saying this was epic. Seeing it in the theater, my friend literally stood up and cheered after the decapitation and the insanity that
Oh, I
followed during
bet,
the final
man.
act. I bet. I bet. Eric saying the build up for the violence was being made for Coriander ever since you guys started with First Blood. Was the build up worth it? Was the build up worth it, Coriander?
Yes, it was the best.
Hey,
Yeah,
Crazy
hey,
shit.
we still
it
got one
was.
more movie, Coriander.
Yeah, we do.
Are you trying to tell me that even that is going to top this?
Look, man, we got another one
Wow.
coming up, man.
Wow
We
is
got
all I
another
have
one.
to say.
Coriander. One thing I'll say is this: you will never hear a certain Doors song and think of it the same way again.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Good looking out.
Nice.
Good looking
You will
out.
hear that song and you will remember.
Yes, you will remember. My man
Nice.
Jason's in the chat from the J-Man's Movie Cave, another big Stallone fan. Awesome to see you, dude. Saying vicious, brutal, and maybe the best directed Stallone film. I agree with you, dude. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. No doubt about that, brother.
Mhm.
And let's see, we got Prometheus is in the chat saying, "Hell no, it wasn't too violent." Hello, Nightwatch, Corey, and Killian the Terminator.
Hello.
Eric saying, between this and Rocky Balboa, Stallone hit 2 home runs with 2 at the time final chapters. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Mr. Dan's in the chat saying, "Are you bringing guns? Then you're not changing a damn thing." Right? Oh, man. I didn't see this until 2018 when a friend gave me his DVDs compared to some of the news stuff I'm involved in. It's par for the course. I hear you, Crypta. We got my man Frank. Frank's in the chat too from The Harsh Truth saying, I thought it was good. It pays respect to the core of the character that the film gave us. I agree. Yeah. I really agree. My man Rusty's in the chat too saying, not a big Stallone fan, but I do love Rambo. Not too violent at all. There you go, man. Good for you, man. I hear you. Okay, guys, you know what we got to do. We're going to take a quick second to finish getting set up, but we also have a little moment here that I thought was really cool in the movie. And as my brother said, and it's funny because we've been doing 2 franchises at the same time, and they literally have 2 of the best hype men of all time. And here's the late, great Richard Crenna. You know what time. All right. Let's get down to brass tacks, my man Richard Crenna. Real quick, too, Eric was saying, I love how Stallone added in the alternate ending to First Blood into that nightmare Rambo was having. It perfectly fit, yes, having Trautman shoot him. Good eye, Eric. You're all right, man. Good eye. Cryptomaria saying, I am all of Hollywood is weird, but he is pretty low key. Yes, I hear you, man. All right, so Kill, let's start this thing off, man. As the movie started, once again, we're seeing John Rambo trying to live his best life in peace. What were you thinking of how this thing started off?
You know, I mean, he has obviously stayed in Asia. He's living close to Burma now. And I mean, you know, in the last movie, he was with the monks and, you know, they pull him back in. And in this one, he's just kind of, you know, he's a bushman. He goes into the bush. He brings back, you know, dangerous reptiles and gets paid that way. And he has a boat and he just is living a very just low key, just calm, peaceful existence, trying to stay away from war, stay away from America and just craziness, and also the demons of his past, perhaps his family and so forth. And once again, man, just like, you know, Sigourney Weaver in the Aliens movies, you have a character here that's known nothing but turmoil. He was a POW. He's only known war, death, his loss of friends. And he's just trying to find some semblance of peace.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, and they just won't let him have it.
They won't. And Coriander, and I'll throw it to you. I mean, the beginning of it, like Killian was saying, is just interesting to see how he is living. You know what I mean? What were you thinking about it? Because again, this is your first time watching this. And what were your thoughts in the beginning and how things started off for him?
I mean, I thought it was suitable. You know, he's, doing his thing and crazy catching these dangerous snakes and shit. Holy. Like, he can do anything and everything. It's like, how did he know how to do these things? I mean, if I went out to catch a snake like that, I'd get killed. You know, so this guy can do anything. And I just thought, it was great how it started out.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing that I noticed too, and you guys can chime in if you want, but the fact that he's still helping people, he's still charitable. You know, he's fishing and he's giving what his catches to other you know, folks that are less well off than him, and so forth and so forth. So it's like he still has that, and I think Frank might have said it earlier, or Eric or someone talking about you still paying respect to the core of his character. You know, we talked about this in Rambo III when that famous line in the movie saying he never draws first blood. You know, and the same thing in this movie, obviously even more years later, but he's living peacefully, and of course things, you know, present themselves. And then you have Julie Benz and the peacekeepers that basically come to him asking for, you know, him as a boatman. Kill, at this point in the movie, what were you thinking? You know, as soon as that happened, I was just like, hey, here we go. Yeah,
man, look, you know, my hat is off to the peacekeepers, you know, for the work they're trying to do. I commend them. But if you go to a local, and especially if he's an expat, you know, like, oh, you're an American, okay, you know, whatever, and they tell you, like, look, this is not a good idea. You might not want to do this. You're not going to change anything unless you're bringing them weapons. You might want to listen to that man. you might want to listen to that man, because no matter how benevolent of an act of charity you're trying to do, you're going to a bad place where, and once again, I love how the Rambo movies show the viewer a part of the world or a conflict that they may have no idea is even going on. Yeah. And they don't shy away from sugarcoating anything. They're like, look, this is Burma. They will make child soldiers out of you. Women are killed, raped, kids are killed, villages are massacred. Yeah. And the thing is, it's just perpetually going on. And your boy there, oh my God, that face.
Right? That says it all.
Yeah, and it's just, these peacekeepers are trying to do a good thing, but it's not going to work here. It really isn't going to work here. So I'm looking at them and I'm just like, you catalyst. Julie Benz, you're a catalyst. And okay, now we see the motivation to wake the sleeping giant in Rambo. Yeah. These peacekeepers.
And the thing of it too is that he turned them down. He flat turned them down, and that was pretty much it. But then you saw that scene where Julie Benz playing Sarah came to him in the storm, a rainstorm. It was just basically just laying it out on the line. And, again, these are Rambo movies, so I'm not trying to get all deep and all that type of stuff. But again, the character does represent certain values and so forth. And it was almost like it's almost like she reignited some of his humanity a little bit, because she gave him that whole concept of living for something, you know what I'm saying? And of course, we know that famous moment, further into the movie when he says it to Lewis, played by Graham McTavish. So anyways, but Coriander, how about you? I mean, as far as all this setup, this is the plot. This is how we're going to get Rambo into the action. What did you think of that compared to the other movies?
I love this movie from start to finish. So I thought that, how they did it was perfect, because, and using her and her whole speech to get him into it was, it was great.
Yeah.
I bought it.
Absolutely. Real quick too, in the chat, I'll answer something to that too that just came to my mind. Slasher Fred was saying that the movie originally was going to be called John Rambo. It's funny, and that's true, and I remember that. And it's actually known as John Rambo in some territories, and some is just Rambo 4, and some is just Rambo. So, hey, it is what it is. Cryptomary saying, out of all the stars that have filmed on Vancouver Island, he's the most respectful. He still invests in the local economy, but is the type of guy not wanting it to be out there. Nice. I did not know that. Yeah. Very, very cool. I believe it too. Eric saying, the man is just broken, has no love for life anymore, in my opinion. It shows very early when the missionaries want to change the world, and he responds with, F the world. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Prometheus saying he was just living his best life, trying not to think about killing people in very creative ways. Yeah, that's part of it too. Keeping the beast caged, so to speak. And he deals with that, DMC's in the chat. What's going on? Saying, hey, Night, Killian and Coriander. Hey. A great film. Action-packed. I had no complaints. Yeah. Me neither, man. Me neither.
Right.
Dan was saying, I think they encountered some actual refugees from the Burma conflict during filming, which influenced the realism. I heard that too. Yep, I heard that too. And we do have a couple of fun facts too that we're going to throw out. But one thing I wanted to say too, Coriander, from what you were saying, he definitely holds on to those morals, that's what defines his character. And the fact that she ignited that in him, I guess what I'm trying to say is this movie, and we'll get into the ranking of the franchise, once we finish the franchise, but this movie had a lot of depth to it, as far as for a Rambo movie, you know what I mean? Like you had some good acting moments, some good dramatic moments, some good tense moments. It did.
It did. I think that's what made it so awesome, because it just felt so real.
It did.
Crazy.
And when we get to this part with the pirates, I mean that scene was just really tense, man. What were you thinking in that scene?
Man, it was extremely intense because he knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew the character of these men. He knew how cutthroat they were. I mean, they are called pirates, for God's sake. Take that, Pirates of the Caribbean stuff out of your head. Pirates will kill you and take anything you have. Okay. And he knew it. And of course, the worst possible scenario, they started looking at Julie Benz. Yep. And they're like,
being a woman. Yeah, man.
We want her now. And he knew exactly what would happen to her. Julie Benz knew what would happen to her. And like you said, Kill, this was such an intense scene. And Rambo did exactly what I hoped he was going to do. And he did it efficiently and quick. And and then your boy, I hope I'm not jumping too far ahead, but your boy, the leader of the first, expedition here, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm going to report you. And like, he had to tell him, like, look, do you realize they would have raped her 50 days from Wednesday and then probably slit her throat and threw her in the river? Like, sit down and shut up. And he's like the only one that felt he wanted or needed to say something. Everyone else probably knew exactly what was going to happen, and they really didn't say anything. But they also are religious people, so any death, it's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But in this particular case, your options, shit happens, and your options are very small.
And the other thing too, and again, Stallone directed this. He did a fantastic job with the acting, the action, the set pieces, and you got to remember, this is still one of those movies where you're on the ground running. This is real settings, real jungle, real shit. Not a lot of CGI, this and that and all that. But anyways, what I was going to say was, when that guy started talking all that religious stuff and Stallone grabbed him and said, who are you? Who are you? And it was kind of like, and it was like, again, this movie had a lot of good moments. It really, really did. And I got to give Stallone a hell of a lot of credit for it. Let's see. I just want to catch up with these guys for a second. Rusty was saying the original First Blood always gave me the same feeling as the original Walking Tall, hence the Rambo series being my favorite of his. And in general, for this genre, it's righteous violence. Yeah, it definitely is. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. Crypto was saying having someone like that in our corner is like being a superhero. He really is like Rocky or Rambo. He is the real guy who cares. Yeah, and that is awesome. I mean, it really is. And obviously, and we've talked about this. I mean, Sylvester Stallone was one of my favorite actors of all time, and so many great moments of his in his filmography. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And real quick too, Kill, once we get to this part, so he takes care of the pirates, and I thought that was really just so realistic, like Coriander was saying, it just felt real. We basically get to the point where the peacekeepers go, they do their thing, and it goes bad. It turns sideways quick, man. I mean, when the military comes in, that was one of the most brutal scenes. It's like a freaking, I don't even know, like an 8-minute scene, something like that. I mean, everybody was dying, including kids, and they were showing it. What were you thinking in this scene, Kill? Because this scene to me made this movie, and I'm trying to be a little witty about it, but it's like the greatest slasher film of all time just because of this scene alone. What were you thinking?
I mean, it's extremely sad. It's graphic.
Yes.
And it's horrible. And the way they filmed it, they wanted you to feel that.
Yeah.
They didn't want to Hollywood sugarcoat it. And the leader of the army battalion, he's just in the Jeep, just kind of, the guy with the sunglasses, just kind of looking like it's Wednesday to me. This is nothing. Right. I will burn this village and 50 others that look exactly the same, kill all the men, women, and take the young boys as my new crop of soldiers. And there's nothing anyone can do.
Yes.
There's nothing. These people here have no Rambo of their own.
Right. It was one of the most intense one of the most intense like war scenes I might have ever seen. Like just, you know, that snippet of it, whatever it was, 8 minutes worth or whatever. It was I actually and this is coming from a person, as we all know, all three of us are horror movie fans. Even as a really big horror movie fan, there were a couple times when I had to kind of not look away, but I definitely had to kind of be like, oh crap, you know what I mean? And you know, again, it was just badass. How about you, Coriander? What'd you think of that scene? How did it hit you?
Yeah, it like Killian said, it's sad, you know, you feel so bad for these people because I mean, they don't even know it's coming and then all of a sudden, boom, you're getting killed, you know, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy and so graphic and I mean, these people enjoyed these people who are in this army with this fucking dictator dude. I mean, they enjoy it. The fact that
Yeah.
at one scene you've got, you know, they make these guys run in the water and they're throwing bombs, you know, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's like a game for them. And
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
sick. It's
I mean,
sick.
it really showed the depth of evil. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think Kill, I think you were saying in our Rambo 3 episode how they just keep elevating the villains and the evil and this and that. And I gotta
Yeah.
admit, man, this was even
It
worse to me.
was.
I don't want to give and again for you guys too, I don't want to give things away as far as how we're gonna rank these things, but as far as that elevation of evil, this one definitely hit it. But then we get, and I'll throw this to you, Kill. Then we get to the scene, which you know me, I'm pretty nostalgic and you know all that good stuff. But we get to that scene where, and we played a little bit of the clip earlier in the intro, where you know he's basically having the nightmare, you know, and we have the flashbacks to everything that he had gone through, the flashbacks of Trautman and stuff like that. First of all, how did that scene hit you? And of course, that's when we find out that he finds out that the peacekeepers were in trouble.
I thought it was a great scene and a great homage and, you know, salute to Richard Crenna and to the Trautman character. And, you know, also it gives you a glimpse into, you know, John Rambo's PTSD because he is suffering from immense PTSD.
Absolutely.
He was POW and he probably has nightmares every single night. And whereas some people that you know might go through that, you know, they might become an alcoholic or a drug abuser. The way he copes with it is just trying to find Zen and trying to find like, you know, peace and a modest living, a modest life, and just also trying to stay away from people as much as possible. So it was a great scene, and it also just, you know, once again illustrates his own kind of mental state, you know, with the things that he sees and feels when he tries to close his eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Coriander? What'd you think of that scene and how it played out?
It was great. I mean, it also shows you too that the type of relationship that he had with you know Trautman and yeah, I mean these two together, they're awesome, and it's a bummer that he wasn't, you know, around for this one too. But yeah, like you said, it was a good tribute. Yeah.
No, I definitely think it was, and I remember when I was watching it, man. And I mean, again, I'm not ashamed to say it, but it got me, you know, in the feels because I was just thinking not only about these characters, but as a fan watching these movies since I was like friggin' Kill, like I was 7, 8, 9 years old, you know, and you were younger. I mean, we've been watching these movies for so long. And so you followed these guys, you followed Rambo and Trautman, and you know how strong of a connection was. So it was a good tribute, but it also, like you said too, Kill, shows what goes on in his head. Real quick too, in the chat, Eric was saying Rambo is truly scary at times in this, and I never realized how huge Stallone truly was physically until this and Rocky Balboa. He's just a giant among men in those two films. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Crypta saying, no matter how hard to see it is make believe, I think if a movie can make people think, if this is what it takes for people to watch the news and think about reality, then we need films like this. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah. And, you know, and I think that that was a big thing that Stallone really looked at this series and hoped that it would do. Matter of fact, and we've got a fun fact. I think it's one of the first fun facts we've got, Coriander, and it talks a little bit about that, what his concept for this movie was. So great comment. Great comment. Eric saying this Burma massacre scene rivaled Saving Private Ryan and the scene at Omaha Beach, if you ask me, in its brutality. It did. It did.
Yeah.
It really, really did. I agree. Eric saying, why was this villain especially evil? Because the actor downplayed it. He wasn't over the top. Like Killian said, it was just Wednesday to him. That's true,
exactly.
Too.
Yeah, and Eric, brother, because there wasn't any giant monologuing. There wasn't any ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
You know, not that any of the villains in any of these Rambo movies have been like that mustache twirling villain, but for this guy, the way that this actor portrayed it, you felt like, oh, he's really, you know, like this tyrant general, and just killing these people, they mean nothing to him. So he doesn't have to get upset or raise his voice because they're nothing to him. And that's what truly makes it scary.
Yeah.
Right.
So that absolutely helps too.
Yep. Cryptomera saying fighting through PTSD is something that needs to be addressed more. The war never leaves you. Very true. It's very true. I totally agree with that 100%. DMC saying, I like how Sarah's character shines a light into his dark world. Absolutely. And I think that that was a really cool thing that they showed, you know, and it was very subtle. You know, again, nothing was really over the top, even though the action, you know, in a movie like this can be, but there was a lot of grittiness to it and realism to it as well, as much as it could be. Dan saying the banality of evil. Yes, absolutely. Prometheus saying Julie Benz can light up any room. She's a great actress, man, and we've seen her in a lot. We've seen her in a lot of good. Yeah, she's done a lot of great stuff. Yep. Rusty saying quite underplayed evil is always more scary than over the top obvious evil. Quiet is more insidious, like real evil would be. I agree. Absolutely. But, you know, so obviously Rambo has to go in, just so we can get further along in this, he has to go in and help, you know, save these peacekeepers. And this is when we get the mercenary scene in there, kill. And these guys, jeez, man, especially your boy there, Lewis, right in the front, played by Graham McTavish, who's a really good character actor, but he had some scenes, man. I was just like, this guy, he's either going to get his ass kicked or something, but it didn't play out the way you would have thought, you know what I mean? But I thought these mercenaries, it was an interesting little group. I mean, it's not that they had a lot of screen time to build up their character, but just for what they were given, you know, it was kind of like, wow, these guys, they do seem like they're going to, you know, play the part of badasses. You know what I mean? What were you thinking about it, Kill?
Well, for one, I wanna just point out something with Sly. I see you, Sly. I know you've watched Enter the Dragon because you wanted to take him on a boat and get him on a boat, like, and have him, like, you know, because that was like, what's your style? You know, like, I'm sorry, I'm watching this, I'm like, I've seen this before, but no. Right. Once again, you know, like we were just talking about, like, true evil doesn't have to be very boisterous. Yes. A person with a certain set of skills, a person who has seen war, they don't have to, you know, to speak their resume to you. Yes. And I love how, you know, John Rambo is just staring the boat and he's just looking, you know, he's just like, yeah, okay, you know, and this kind of reminds me of the scenes from the last movie where his kind of liaison in the Middle East was like, my friend, you have never fired a gun, I can tell.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know, and, you know, so essentially you have these mercenaries, they're all there for whatever their particular reasons are, but mainly they're all there for a payday. And like you were saying, Graham McTavish, his character, he's kind of the most boisterous and talkative one, so he's kind of usurping himself as the leader.
Yes.
Of all of these mercenaries. And, you know, John is just like, yeah, whatever, man. I've heard it. I've seen it, you know.
I've done it.
You know, yeah, you know, and he's just like, you know, look, you're going into a war zone. This is not going to be pleasant. And hopefully we can get these people out.
Right.
That's the main thing.
Yes, absolutely. And real quick before I get to you, Coriander, Eric was saying Julie Benz is great in the Saw franchise. Yes, that and Eric, I'm telling you, man, and you know me, Eric, we are going to get to the Saw franchise hopefully sooner rather than later. And that was a really good entry, and she played a really good part. Good call, brother. My man Strange Monkey is in the chat. What's up, brother? Saying I love how brutal and realistic Rambo was. I honestly think it was a fitting end to the franchise until it wasn't. Laugh out loud. True enough. True enough. True enough. And Eric talking more about Saw 5. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And but Coriander, seeing the mercenaries and kind of seeing how, especially Graham McTavish was trying to, size up everyone and so forth. And you hadn't seen this before, but what were you thinking at this point in the movie?
I just thought this guy was a big fucking joke, honestly.
I
loved when Rambo eventually showed him what he was really made of, and he just shut the fuck up, and it was great.
Yeah. I mean, because they went in and pretty much were ambushed, and then Rambo comes. Look, man, we've seen a lot of great archers. And Killian knows this. One of my favorite, obviously, is the classic Robin Hood. We've seen many others, but Rambo, man, when he gets that bow and arrow, man, it's no joke. Kill, when he had this scene, I was just like, that's some badass shit. You know what I mean? Like, what were you thinking at that point? And but to give credit to Graham McTavish, he didn't blink, so I got to give him credit.
He didn't blink because he just knew, that's my ass. Like, right. I'm saying, he sees the eyes of Rambo and he's like, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of me blinking because you're probably gonna kill me. Yes. But what I will say is, once again, this also kind of shows his character. As you were saying, those people were being ambushed, and all of these guys, the mercenaries, are kind of like, well, hey, that's not our payday, so we're not gonna step in on this. And Rambo comes in, and all these guys have all this firepower. Rambo comes in with a bow and like 8 arrows and takes them all out and saves that last one for McTavish, because he's like, who are you? And what are you doing? And he's like, look, we're going to save these people. We're not heading back to the boat. And if you say one more thing I don't like, it's curtains for you, man. So that's why he didn't say much, and it was a great scene. And he also kind of took the power right there, like, hey, I'm the leader.
He did.
You guys are gonna follow me now because you've seen what I can do. All right. Now just everybody step in line and let's save these people.
And of course, he had the iconic line, which every movie has to have that. And he, when he said, live for nothing or die for something. So I was like, yeah, man, he's all right, man. He is all right. Crypto was saying, best regards, an awesome review, worth staying up for. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we hope you get enough rest. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. And we've got big things coming up. So keep an eye out, Crypto. We're heading into October. So we got some cool things that we got coming up that's going to be really fun and community oriented. So Eric was saying that scowl Stallone gives Rambo is in this movie is truly epic. Nobody does it better, and his lines are amazing. Live for nothing or die for something. Absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Prometheus saying Julie Benn's voice is amazing. Yeah, man, she. I really wish that she had more roles, because I think she's a really good actress. I've seen her in a lot of different types of movies, action, horror, sci-fi, thriller, and she's really good. But they've got to go in and save the prisoners, Coriander. And I thought this was a really cool scene. I think you were talking about that one part where they were driving the truck through and people were getting off at certain points. What'd you think about those scenes, Coriander?
I thought it was great, and it was smart too, because Rambo doesn't know the layout of this place, but he knows what to do, and he knows how to take charge and fucking get shit done, and that's exactly what he did. So yeah,
absolutely, and Kill, that scene when he goes in to rescue Julie Benz playing Sarah, and he literally rips that guy's throat. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
You gotta
God.
love this guy. I mean, what were you
Right?
thinking of that? What were you thinking, man?
Hey, look, that guy got what he deserved because he was about to
Right?
rape Julie Benz.
Absolutely.
And John, man, don't play around with John Rambo.
There it
Like
is
you
right
don't
there.
do those things. You don't
Right?
do these bad things, and you definitely don't do that.
Yes. No
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt. But then they're pretty much on the run. And there was also that really cool scene where he basically, put his life, well, he had been putting his life on the line for Julie Benz, but he basically was going to play as the bait and said, you go this way, I'll go that way. And he sets up that trap with the bomb, and it was like shades of First Blood. And I was like, yes. And he literally took out like 30 guys. Like that explosion, because it was near one of those older bombs from the World War. And so it literally was like a mushroom cloud that he set up. I was like, this guy is badass. We had seen that some of the mercenaries, they got hurt, especially your boy Graham McTavish. But I gotta admit, man, it was at this point in the movie that I actually started to kind of be with him a little bit, because he didn't bitch out. He was still right up to the end when he thought he was going to get killed. He was still talking his talk. So I was like, you know what? He's earned the right to talk, because he didn't stop when the gun was pointed right at him. So I really, really thought that was cool. Eric saying, you can't forget how great Julie Benz was in Dexter, another shining light to a dark character. Very true. Yeah. Very, very true. But obviously we got to talk about the finale. This is where we're going to get to the end of all this. And Stallone just opens up the biggest can of whoop ass, like, of all time. Like, I mean, seriously, man, when he gets on the automatic, I mean, kill. Just tell me what you're thinking, man.
Well, and I said this on the last Rambo movie. If you have a helicopter, don't let John get to it. If you have a 50 cal automatic, don't let Rambo get it, because he will open a can of whoop ass so big. Seriously, that scene when he gets on that gun, he mows those guys down like they're roast beef.
Yes.
And they show limbs being blasted away, like heads being shot off. This gun does not discriminate. It was just taking dudes out left and right. And once again, you have John Rambo saving this platoon, saving these people, saving Julie Benz. Yep. And, like Coriander said earlier, he is a killing machine. Yeah. So I once again, the violence in here, it's justified violence, because these guys are despicable. Yeah, they are despicable, and hey, you get what your boy even got in on it. The religious guy who was kind of a dick bag a little bit. He was even killing someone and this and that.
He finally jumped on.
So so now you have to kill someone to live. Okay.
Absolutely. Coriander, what about you? I mean, this finale, like I said, I don't even know how many people he killed, but it was more death in this movie than Rambo 3. And we thought we had reached the top with that. What did you think of it?
It was great. That gun he was using and blowing people up, and I mean, it was great.
Absolutely.
It was action packed,
Yeah, and I mean, of course, he got the revenge on the major, and I was just like, wow, man, that was just. It was very satisfying. It really, really was. Absolutely. We got Bobby B too in the chat. What's going on, man? Saying in the house, what's up, Night Watch? Haven't seen the new Rambo, but I've been a Stallone fan all my life. And yes, Julie Benz needs more roles. Absolutely. There's no doubt. Eric saying it wasn't just guts on the shield of that 50 caliber. It was gore and chunks of meat.
Yeah, it was.
That's true. It was, man. It was. But, he basically did what he had to do, and he saved the day. And again, what I wanted to say, what I was talking about in before our intro, they did it in a realistic way, because he is older in this movie, right? So it's like, they didn't have him doing all the things that he did in the first 3 movies, you know what I'm saying? But he was equally effective, at this age, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing a hell of a lot. He was using his brain. I mean, he's always been pretty smart in warfare, but he was even more so. It was just like, wow, it's just crazy. Yep. I mean, he killed a lot of damn people, man. He really did. And again, credit to Stallone directing, and of course at the end, what a nice dovetail as he heads back home to his father's house. And Kill, you heard that music. It's a long road. And you know me, I started singing it. My man Dan Hill. It's a long road. And I got that on my playlist. I used to play that when I was a kid. I still play it now. But what a great theme. It was a great way to end this movie. And again, man, credit to Stallone directing this and just the setup. And it was
writing it.
Yes, it was equally as effective. It really, really was. As the other 3 movies, it really, really was. Yeah. I mean, hey, man. And of course, when he goes to these premieres, and it's the other way around too, but Kill, who's that with Stallone? Who is that?
I don't know who that guy is.
His buddy. Yeah, I love it. I love it how these guys, they support each other now, especially now, and they go to each other's premieres for their movies. I do love that. Real quick, and we do have a couple fun facts we're going to throw to you guys as we head on out here. I'll start with the first one, Kill, and then I'll let you do the second one. But the first one we've got here for our fun facts is Stallone, the legend.
Yeah, he wanted the film to be set in the midst of the most brutal, ongoing global conflict that was ignored by the public and media.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was a comment that Crypto was talking about earlier. So yeah, he's definitely very self-conscious and looks at these movies as a way to entertain fans, but also to make them think a little bit. Bring awareness. Yes, absolutely. And we'll get to our next fun fact. Here we go, Kill.
The villain of villains.
Yeah, the guy who played the Burmese dictator fought for the Karen rebels in real life and was afraid his family would get murdered if he took this role.
Wow. He was a good villain, man. He really, really was. He played it the right way. He really did. Number 3 is kill average.
2.59 killings per minute.
Wow. That's some crazy stuff, man.
Right?
It's crazy. Okay, here's number 4.
Thanos as the hype man.
James Brolin was going to play the role of Colonel Trautman, but the role was written out of the script.
Yeah, I think that was the right decision. I think it was the right decision. I mean, we love Brolin, but yeah, Richard Crenna, rest in peace, man.
Right.
Let's see. We got 2 more. Directing the greatest slasher of all time.
Yeah. The first and only Rambo film directed by Stallone.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And our last fun fact.
Real injuries.
First day of shooting, Stallone tore part of his quadricep running through the jungle.
Wow. Yeah, and again, credit to Stallone, man, because he really, all of these movies, I mean, he really put the work in physically, and it's just, the dedication is just, it's unbelievable, and that's why, stars like him and Arnold, they're just at the top of the heap because they really do put in a lot of work. Real quick too, before we head on out here, just a last couple of comments we have here. Bobby B was saying, I already read that one. Eric was saying, in response to you guys wondering about the death toll, according to IMDb, highest body count of any Rambo film, 466, and it averages 2.59 killings per minute. All right.
Yeah, man.
Bobby B saying, if you haven't already, please dedicate an episode to the difference between the dubbed Bruce Lee movies and the Hong Kong subtitled versions. You'll see they are so different. That's a good one, man. I'll have to think about that because I love Bruce Lee movies. I really do. Prometheus saying Rambo was like the Punisher. Who you mean? My pinky ring. He was like the Punisher. He really, really was. All right, guys. And Eric's got one more comment here too. He broke a rib falling into the tree in First Blood.
Yeah.
Might as well injure a quad running in this one. True enough. He really put the work
jumping
in.
out of that friggin' helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, he's put in the work.
Yeah,
DMC saying Rambo going full circle and coming back home to the ranch was a great ending and echoing what Trautman said he needed to do in order to fully recover. Yes, absolutely. Rusty saying great stream, guys. Great film. Absolutely. Well, guys, that's all we got for the great Rambo 4. This has been so much fun. We still got one more to go in the Rambo franchise. So I hope you guys will join us for that one. And we will be back at 9:30 in about 45 minutes we thought we might have been in dark territory last week, Kill. Yeah, man, we're going to be talking about Halloween Resurrection. It's going to be a fun one, guys. If you can join us, that'd be great. For this video, though, please give us a like. That would help support the channel. We'd appreciate it. But also importantly, please leave us a comment in the comment section letting us know what you think about Rambo 4. Do you have any favorite moments or any favorite things about the character that you'd like to talk about? We'll check that out, have a conversation. It should be a lot of fun. Eric, as we're heading out, saying, can't wait to hear you talk about Last Blood. It's like an rated R Home Alone. You'll love it, Coriander. That's right.
No. Nice.
DMC saying, oh shit, Resurrection. That's right, man. We'll be back.
Oh shit, it's right.
We'll be back at 9:30. So we will catch you guys in a little while. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out. Rest in peace to Richard Crenna.
Peace.
Up, church.